in this matchup. May's rushing this postseason has really been, vital in terms of the Patriots' success. It's something he does extremely well. I think he'll be hesitant to hold on to the football for a long time, and so for that, May more rushing yards than Kenneth Walker.
I like that a lot. Find me a prop. Jeff Saturday, give me a Super Bowl statement.
How about wide receivers and DBs? JSN, this guy had a monster game in the NFC Championship game. Howard Gonzalez and Carlton Davis on the backside of that Patriots defense going to be able to lock. Are they going to double him and then single up on the other side with either Kupp or Shaheed? It's going to be a great strategic matchup in the backfield. But when I talk receivers and DBs, this is a matchup to watch. I'm fired up for it.
Yeah, the Patriots so strong back there, and JSN maybe the best in the league. D. Wood, give me a final Super Bowl statement.
Yeah, listen, I think the Patriots are going to make Sam Darnold beat him. As great as Sam Darnold played in the NFC Championship game, arguably his best game in his career, we know that this Seattle Seahawks offense, they want to run the football. Kenneth Walker III is a big part of it. I think Mike Vrabel on that defense, they're going to shut Kenneth Walker down, and they're going to make Sam Darnold, who's had a good year, but he's also led the league in turnovers this year. Mike Vrabel and company is going to force Sam Darnold to beat him.
Let's talk about Sam. So we finished our show yesterday. I go up to the office, and I'm changing out of my work clothes, and I'm watching you on First Take there with Stephen A. and the crew. And you're having a conversation, and I'll just put the question to you. I'm acknowledging it came directly from that, but I thought it was interesting. If Sam Darnold plays a game like that on Sunday and is a Super Bowl champion by the time we go to bed on Sunday night, will we have to wake up Monday morning and say Sam Darnold is an elite NFL quarterback?
Yeah, my answer is yes, especially if he plays the way he did to win the game. Like to Woody's point, if the Patriots block him in and say, hey, he's got to go beat us, and he does it, how would you not call him elite? This is a quarterback who's won 30 games in the last 2 years. By the way, the only two other quarterbacks who have done that, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. I mean,
in any 2 years
span. In any 2 year span.
Yeah.
I mean, that's legit. I mean, that's saying something. Now, not all wins go to quarterbacks. I get all that. But here, this is the way I discussed it yesterday, and I feel this is a great comparison. Eli Manning, he won 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl MVP, played fantastic. Throughout his regular season, people would talk about he was never like the guy that you said was the guy, right? He wasn't Peyton, he wasn't Drew Brees, he wasn't Tom Brady. And so I liken the two to each other. Is if Sam Darnold has this type of game in the Super Bowl where he's a Super Bowl MVP, absolutely. Are you saying that Eli wasn't elite? Like, I wouldn't say he's not an elite quarterback because he is. So that's the best comparison to me would be saying that a guy who not only has won a bunch of regular season games but gets in the show and plays his 2 best games in the championship and the Super Bowl, you have to put him in that conversation.
It's funny because back in those days, that was the big topic on sports talk shows, like the ones that I was hosting at the time. You can't spell elite without E-L-I.
Love it.
That was the big discussion. Tim Hasselbeck, is Sam Darnold an elite quarterback if he wins on Sunday?
Yeah, listen, in my eyes, I would see it just the way Jeff sees it from a standpoint of, look, I think Eli Manning was an elite quarterback. And because, yes, the postseason success and obviously Super Bowl success, but also, the sustained success throughout his career, I think lets you look through his career, from the lens of, the guy was able to do it at the highest level. So that's how I would see it. Now, I don't think that that's how the public is going to see it for Sam Darnold. I think they'll see it the way that people are looking at Jalen Hurts, the way some people still look at Eli Manning, the way people looked at Joe Flacco. Guys that have had amazing success throughout their entire career, won Super Bowls, but they don't look them, to Jeff's point, don't look at them like Brees or Manning or some of these other guys that have played the position. So I think until you're doing it, for a long period of time throughout the regular season and the postseason, and then you win Super Bowls without the best defense on the field, I think people are always going to have some type of lens to say, yeah, but you're not like that other guy.
What do you think, D-Wood?
Yeah, you can be elite without being generational. Like you talk about Brees, Peyton, those are generational. You can be an elite quarterback, okay? And that's why when you brought the name Eli Manning, it made a lot of sense because Eli Manning on one breath won 2 Super Bowls and was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. On the other hand, he led the league multiple times in interceptions. He was never the best quarterback at any point in his career, but he's also a guy that more than likely is going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, if Sam Darnold continues what he's been doing this postseason, especially off the NFC Championship game where he had the best best game of his career, if he goes out there and wins without the Kenneth Walker rushing attack, yeah, we're going to have to think of him in that manner.
And can I say this just to put this in a good reference point? The Rams scored a bunch of points and moved the ball up and down. Stafford had a great day against that Seahawks defense that's the number one. I get they're a great defense. Sam Darnold had to play an excellent football game for them to win. To act like he's being carried, and again, football is a team game. Special teams matter, defense matters, but in that moment when it was all placed on his shoulders, you got to go compete and outperform possibly the MVP.
All right, speaking of Shedeur, indirectly, the Browns introducing their new head coach, Todd Monken, yesterday, taking over a team that finished 5-12, last in the AFC North. One of the big challenges, of course, figuring out who the starting quarterback is going to be. Monken did not commit to Shedeur Sanders as his starter when he was asked yesterday. Here's what he said.
Well, I think like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started.
So making no commitment at all, and one would not, I think, at this point expect him to. Tim Hasselbeck, should Shedeur Sanders be the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback? Should they be building around that notion as they go into their offseason?
No, and they won't. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. He'll be on the roster because he's, on a rookie contract, or at least he'll be in the training camp roster. He's on a rookie contract from a year ago, much like Dylan Gabriel. Those guys, I would think, would add, the Browns would add, somebody with starter experience to compete, because there's just no way with just, probably what the evaluation has been of Shedeur, as a player in the pros now, as well as how he came into the league, that they would give him the opportunity to, quite frankly, I don't think he would even enter training camp as the second guy, on the roster. So I don't think that's how they'll operate. It's hard to become a head coach in the NFL, and if you do, you got to try to win with a quarterback, and most guys, including Todd Monken, aren't going to try to do it with somebody like Shedeur.
What do you think about that, D. Wood?
Yeah, he doesn't have the body of work to go into the situation and declare this guy to be the pencil him in as a starter. Listen, at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders is a fifth-round quarterback. He had some highlights last year. There's no question about it. But I think if you're a new coach coming in, you're probably gonna have a different profile over the type of quarterback that you want. And so he's going to bring in competition, whether it be, a free agent, veteran guy, or draft someone this year. It's not going to be at 4, but there's going to be competition in that quarterback room for them to evaluate.
And let's be honest, there's going to be competition everywhere. Monken ain't coming in with this. Every head coach that walks into a new building, a new program, everybody's got to go earn their job. He's going to give the whole spiel that we've heard our entire lives. Like, everybody's job is at risk. We're all in this thing together. Everybody's got to go earn it. So I don't think it's going to be any different for the quarterback. But to y'all's point, they'll bring in competition. I think they're going to try to do that at a number of different positions on that roster.
One would assume. It sounds to me, Tim, like you're not convinced Shedeur Sanders has a starting quarterback job in his future, whether it's in Cleveland or anywhere.
No, it's how I felt about him coming out of college. I think that there are things he does at the position extremely well that you need to be able to do well to play in the National Football League. I actually think, that's the good side of it. I think the bad side of it for him, I just think physically there are limitations that he has as a player that don't know that anyone is building around that. Could he end up playing in the league for 10 years, in some role as a backup, and then maybe get an opportunity to play? Sure, he could. But I don't think that anybody, listen, there isn't a single team of the 32 that would look at him right now and be like, yep, I want to build around that guy. It's not, I'm not saying that to be demeaning or mean. That is the reality of who he actually is as a player and how he is viewed, quite frankly, consensusly around the league.
All right, we'll have to wait and see what they wind up doing there. Again, they have 2 picks in the first round. Maybe they go late first round for a Ty Simpson or someone like that. We'll see what they decide to do. In the meantime, happy anniversary, Jeff Saturday. Okay. Let's go back 19 years ago today, to the day that Peyton Manning got his first Super Bowl win, his only one as a member of the Colts. Jeff Saturday, center of that offensive line.
Yeah, we did.
How many yards you guys run?